Hey guys, welcome to Red's Projects. Today, just doing a little bit of maintenance on the ute. It is my daily driver and I do treat it pretty badly, so I thought it was time to just have a quick look over everything, top up the fluids and just check everything. And I've got to put some new tyres on the back. For some reason they keep wearing out and I'm not really sure why. So I'll put the wide wheels and tyres on the back. I've got to mix up some water methanol for it as well. And there's a few clunks and bits and pieces. I just want to have a roll underneath and just have a look. I think I'm almost due for a service of this thing. So we're at 348,400 and something. So at 350,000 I'll do a major service on it. So if I check over everything now, I can order any parts I might need if I need anything. So nothing too serious. I'll just make sure this thing will get me to work tomorrow. Okay, finally these little Pirelli 14-inch tyres have worn out. Now, Ryan originally bought these tyres second-hand from a wrecker's. He put them on the back of his VN for a little while. We did burnouts and had fun with them. Then I got them off him, put them on the front of this ute and drove to work for a year or two. And then I put them on the back and I've had them on the back for a year or two. And finally, after a bunch of abuse a couple of weeks ago, they're worn out. They're down to the wear indicators. So we'll just have a moment's silence for these great tyres. It's been good. It's been good. All right, let's rip these things off. And I got the 255s to put back on. So at least I'll have some traction now. Poor little thing. Okay, you can see, where are we? Just there, down to the wear indicator, so that's worn out. I don't want to get pulled over and get canaried. Don't want to get pulled over for something stupid, so take them off, get rid of them. All right, so while I got the wheel off, just want to check over a couple of things, like the slapper bars. Make sure the rubber's still okay. You can see it contacts the eye a fair bit. Any cracks? No, we're looking pretty good there. I'll just check with the U-bolts as well, make sure they're nice and snug. So another thing I'm going to do is just quickly check this bolt, because this is not original. This bolt was originally down here somewhere, and I've re-drilled the hole and cut this bottom plate off, which I'll quickly show you right now. Alright, so this is what they originally look like. This is the factory bolt. I've cut all this off, and I've re-drilled my bolt here. It was a little trick you used to do to lower it about an inch or two without having to touch anything else, but I've used a normal bolt and nut here, so I just have to check it occasionally and make sure it doesn't come loose. So yeah, I'll quickly check that bolt. I might slide under and just make sure the exhaust is still sitting nice. Check the tail shaft, check the center bearing, check the diff oil probably, and just have a look around, just make sure nothing's wrong really. Okay, so one of the things I found is the center bearing is a little bit loose. It's not the bearing itself, it's just the rubber is loose inside the carrier. So I might get myself another one of them. It's pretty cracked and stuff as well. So I've already done this once, so I don't think it was that bad from memory. So I might order one of those and get that ready for when I do my major service. Okay, so besides that center bearing, everything looks all right. I'm gonna put the wheels on. That's better. These things look so much better than those skinny little tiny things. I'll quickly swap this one over. So another reason I like these wheels, these ones are slightly taller than the factory ones. And with these, the speedo is pretty much spot on. With those little tyres I just took off, the speedo is about 10 to 15 k's out. As much as I love rattle guns, I don't trust them 100%. So always check over all my wheel nuts by hand. Alright, big tyres are back on. I do like these things, even though they're relatively cheap tyres. Just the size of them, they hook up pretty well. Like I pretty much get full traction in first gear. Second gear's always hooks up. Whereas these little skinny things, first gear guaranteed to spin every time. Second gear, as they wore out, guaranteed to spin every time. And third gear was kind of hit and miss. So these were more fun. You could just roll on and just clutch kick it in third and it would spin. But these things definitely hook up a lot better and make it faster. All right, let's go check some fluids and stuff. Water, it's okay. Let's see, in the radiator, it's good. Brake fluid, good. Clutch fluid, good. Steering, it's not too bad. Engine oil's a bit low. So I'll put some oil in it. This thing leaks a fair bit of oil. Okay, have some more oil. Yep, that'll do. So that gives you an idea of how much oil it leaks. I've just put 1.5 litres in it. And I think it only holds 3.5 or 4. That looks like it might be full. I'll have a quick look. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely full. Yeah, I was just joking when I thought it might have been full, but she's definitely full. Let's tip all this shit out. Yeah. That looks like water. Well, isn't that interesting? That must just be condensation, I hope. I'm just going to ignore that. Okay, so everything under here seems fine. Besides the water that was in the catch can, which I'm just going to assume is condensation building up. I'm just going to ignore that because I'm not losing any water at the radiator or the catch bottle, and the oil's not getting milky or anything, so I'm just going to assume it's that because everything else seems fine. Oil, had to put like 1.5 litres of oil in it, and everything looks okay from up here. It's under here, you can really see the leak. So you can see there's oil over everything, over the rail, over the sump. Mainly this side. So one day I'll have a look at that, work out why it's leaking. It leaves puddles wherever I park it. It could be that the seal underneath the cam sprocket is pushed out or something, because it is kind of a little bit wet on that cover, and it's just dripping down to the bottom and then dripping out the bottom of it. I'm not 100% sure. I just keep topping it up for now. I'm just going to ignore that. Well, I'm pretty much done in here. I just got to mix up some water methanol, so I'll get this out of the shed and I'll quickly show you how I mix that up. Alright, so I've already got some new tyres to go onto these wheels. Tony was kind enough to donate 4 of these to me. So Tony's got the blue Fox Body Mustang. And he's got the supercharged Monaro. And he had 4 of these floating around. They're kind of old, 2010. So they're 10 years old, but they are like 50 to 70% tread at least. So they're perfect. Thank you, Tony, for these. Yeah, thanks very much for them. All right, let's mix up some meth. So this is just normal racing methanol that you run in your race cars, junior dragsters, whatever. So this is a few years old, this drum, but still good. And just normal demineralized water. You can run normal water, but I figure demineralized has got less crap in it, and it's less likely to block up the jet or corrode things. So got that and that. I've got these handy little 2 litre bottles I fill up, and just a few mixing jugs. So okay, that's 1 litre. So I just mix 50-50 water, methanol by volume. Some people do it by weight or by other measures, but 50-50 just is nice and easy and simple and works. Okay, that's 1 litre. Get our water. And that's 1 litre of water. Alright, that one's done. It's ready to go in. That's it. Easy as that. Litre of meth, litre of water, mix them together. With my car, I've got the little red light that tells me when it's empty. When the light's on consistently on flat ground, I can tip one of these into it and it fills it to the top. So probably this week sometime. It's been flickering on and off, so I'll drive it a bit more and thrash it a bit more. Once the light comes on flat ground, I'll tip one of these into it, and that should do me for another month or so. Okay, when I tell people about the water methanol kit on my ute, first question I get is how long does it last? And that's a very hard question to answer, because I've got mine set up so that when it sees 6 or 7 psi, it starts spraying. So anything below that, it doesn't spray. So if you drive the car normally to and from work and don't really floor it much, it'll last forever. Like I think I've got 2 months out of a tank of water methanol. But like last video where I was doing all the burnouts in the ute, I filled it up, did a bunch of burnouts, and the following week I drove it pretty hard and I emptied the tank really quickly. And that was just because it was using it all. So really depends on how hard you drive it. All right, that's it for this episode. Just want to bring you along for a little bit of routine maintenance I do to the ute. I'm really excited for when the drag strips open back up and we can go race listing again and put some more timing into it and fine tune it a bit more. I want to do that, and then I've got more upgrades, bigger turbos, bigger injectors I want to put onto it. So yeah, I'm really waiting for Heathcote to open back up. But that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.